Home. A fundamental need since the dawn of humankind. A universal aspiration shaped by specific needs, depending on where we live on the planet. A harmonious interplay of material and emotional components, personal and shared experiences. Infinitely small individual homes and our infinitely vast shared home, the planet. A challenge that's never been more essential for society to reconcile performance and comfort while preserving resources. As historical market leaders, we now have the responsibility and the power to better inhabit the world, making. For more than 350 years, we are manufacturers and distributors. We design materials and solutions that have a tangible, positive impact on people's lives, including the way they work, take care of themselves, and travel. The world. We are a worldwide, multi-local organization with a global ambition to protect our planet and invent a more sustainable future. A better, dedicated with continuously improving and innovating. Our teams work hand in hand with our partners to imagine solutions that enhance people's individual quality of life and address the social, societal, and environmental challenges facing the planet. We care about our employees, our customers, and our communities. Home. We build places that spark dreams and aspirations. And we work every day to make the world a more beautiful and more sustainable home for us all to live in. Making the world a better home. That's our purpose.
NRB Bearings is one of the top 2 producers of every single customized friction solution that goes in the 2-wheeler and the 3-wheeler globally.
Established more than half a century ago, NRB began operations as an Indo-French joint venture between Nadella, the originator of needle roller bearings, and the Sahani family. NRB has 7 manufacturing plants in India and an offshore unit in Thailand, and international operations in Germany.
What defines NRB is our engineering capabilities. That's what sets us apart.
$3,000 products, customized solutions from design to delivery. NRB is one of the very few companies of its size with a AA- Crystal Standard & Poor's rating.
They care. They care about their people, they care about their customers, and they care about being the best company they can be in the market.
Today, we custom engineer friction solutions for Audi, for Daimler Car, Daimler Truck, for Getrag, for Meritor, and for ZF globally.
No wonder then that NRB high precision parts have been powering vehicles all around the globe and will continue to do so from now into the future. Because we at NRB have always had our bearings right.
Energy is life. We all need it, and it's a source of progress. So today, to contribute to the sustainable development of the planet facing the climate challenge, we are moving forward, together, towards new energies. Energy is reinventing itself, and this energy journey is ours. Our ambition is to be a world-class player in the energy transition. That is why Total is transforming and becoming TotalEnergies.
This is for all lonely people, thinking that life has passed them by.
Houston.
Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup.
Houston.
And ride that highway in the sky. This is for all lonely people, thinking that life has passed them by. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup.
Can I help you?
And ride that highway in the sky.
At BNP Paribas, we know that we're stronger when we're well accompanied. This is why we'll always be by your side.
Never know until you try.
The future. You can't always see what's coming, but the decisions you make right now help you build a better one. Do you want a future where technology constrains your business or empowers it? Will you innovate for the sake of it, or innovate so you're closer to your customers? Do you want to be reactive to what's happening or relevant for tomorrow? Will you choose profit over planet, or will you find profit in sustainability? Partner with Capgemini now and unlock the value of technology to transform your business. Capgemini. Get the future you want.
From the outset, humans have journeyed through nature, on land and sea, the transition from one to the other. Loading, unloading, embarkment, disembarkment. Today, port activity is taking on a new dimension. No longer a port, but a smart corridor. 300 kilometers of fluid traffic, a dynamic artery at the heart of trade, a network of limitless connections from sea to land to sky. It is a path to Europe and to the rest of the world. A single point of contact for customized services to all containers and to all sectors. Here, fresh waters host the longest ships, while the deep seas host the largest ones. An agile interface lets you manage everything, simply and peacefully. A passage to the future, innovative, bold, and integrated within its environment.
Home. A fundamental need since the dawn of humankind. A universal aspiration shaped by specific needs, depending on where we live on the planet. A harmonious interplay of material and emotional components, personal and shared experiences. Infinitely small individual homes and our infinitely vast shared home, the planet. A challenge that's never been more essential for society, to reconcile performance and comfort while preserving resources. As historical market leaders, we now have the responsibility and the power to better inhabit the world, making. For more than 350 years, we are manufacturers and distributors. We design materials and solutions that have a tangible, positive impact on people's lives, including the way they work, take care of themselves, and travel. The world. We are a worldwide, multi-local organization with a global ambition to protect our planet and invent a more sustainable future. A better, dedicated with continuously improving and innovating. Our teams work hand in hand with our partners to imagine solutions that enhance people's individual quality of life and address the social, societal, and environmental challenges facing the planet. We care about our employees, our customers, and our communities. Home. We build places that spark dreams and aspirations. And we work every day to make the world a more beautiful and more sustainable home for us all to live in. Making the world a better home. That's our purpose.
NRB Bearings is one of the top two producers of every single customized friction solution that goes in the two-wheeler and the three-wheeler globally.
Established more than half a century ago, NRB began operations as an Indo-French joint venture between Nadella, the originator of needle roller bearings, and the Sahani family. NRB has 7 manufacturing plants in India and an offshore unit in Thailand and international operations in Germany.
What defines NRB is our engineering capabilities. That's what sets us apart.
3,000 products, customized solutions from design to delivery. NRB is one of the very few companies of its size with a AA- Crystal Standard & Poor's rating.
they care. They care about their people, they care about their customers, and they care about being the best company they can be in the market.
Today, we custom engineer friction solutions for Audi, for Daimler Car, Daimler Truck, for Getrag, for Meritor, and for ZF globally.
No wonder then that NRB high precision parts have been powering vehicles all around the globe and will continue to do so from now into the future. Because we at NRB have always had our bearings right.
Energy is life. We all need it, and it's a source of progress. So today, to contribute to the sustainable development of the planet facing the climate challenge, we are moving forward, together, towards new energies. Energy is reinventing itself, and this energy journey is ours. Our ambition is to be a world-class player in the energy transition. That is why Total is transforming and becoming TotalEnergies.
This is for all lonely people, thinking that life has passed them by.
Houston.
Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup.
Houston.
And ride that highway in the sky. This is for all lonely people, thinking that life has passed them by. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup.
Can I help you?
And ride that highway in the sky.
At BNP Paribas, we know that we're stronger when we're well accompanied. This is why we'll always be by your side.
Never know until you try.
The future. You can't always see what's coming, but the decisions you make right now help you build a better one. Do you want a future where technology constrains your business or empowers it? Will you innovate for the sake of it or innovate so you're closer to your customers? Do you want to be reactive to what's happening or relevant for tomorrow? Will you choose profit over planet, or will you find profit in sustainability? Partner with Capgemini now and unlock the value of technology to transform your business. Capgemini.
44th AGM, I would like to call on stage IFCCI's President, Mr. Sumit Anand, Founder and CEO, Insight Growth Partners, for his welcome remarks.
Hello. Hi, everybody. So glad that we are here today. We're at the Taj Hotel. Which is owned by the Tata Group. Some of you may know, IFCCI was founded many years ago by BNP Paribas, MR, and by some Indian groups, including the House of Tata. So it's a special occasion for us to be here today. Welcome you all to the annual general meeting of our beloved Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We're doing this in a special format, which is hybrid. So we are here in the room, and we also got on YouTube live streaming, and we've got, I think, about 200 people who have logged in, who are registered for it. So it's a new format that we're trying. I guess it's a new reality. But it's so good to meet all of us together here in person. I think those of us who've been out a little in the last few weeks, we know how our life is improved compared to the past year. And you can't replace Teams, Zoom, cannot replace the physical contact of meeting somebody, shaking their hands, having a cup of coffee or a drink, a glass of wine, some sparkling wine, champagne today. So I'm so glad that we're here today. We're in a small room because actually initially the team thought that we may not get too many people who would join us. We've actually got double the number expected by later today. So it's going to get a little busy. But I'm assuming we're all double vaccinated. And so we're all in safe company. I mean, we have a lovely view of the sea and the gateway of India. And I know some of you are staying for the weekend or planning to stay for the weekend. So it's a beautiful property and a beautiful part of the city. So do enjoy it. I want to thank Payal and Bruno for putting this together and having us here together, the entire team of IFCCI Bombay. And we're looking forward to the rest of the evening, Payal. The AGM is always a special moment in any chamber. It's a time to look back at the previous year. At an AGM, you look at the financial results, which are in our case in India from April till March. And it's also when we meet in September. So it's also from last September's AGM till now. So in fact, we're looking back now when we're meeting for about 18 months. And it's been quite a unique 18 months. I think the most unexpected, challenging 18 months in the history of our lives, right? And we've had challenges on the health side, and we've come out of those, and we are having a great quarter with cases being so low in India that it's safer right now to travel in India than it is in many parts of the world. And hopefully the next wave, which will come and is expected, and I can see the cases are creeping up a little in Bombay, will be much milder as most epidemiologists expect, and we can continue to look forward to safer times in the coming months. From a business standpoint, last year was a big hit in the first part in the middle of last year, but we recovered since then, and I think most of our businesses have shown to be resilient, and business has done well quarter on quarter. And the Indian economy hopes to continue to give us opportunities in the coming years for us to build bigger businesses in India. So I think, again, things to look forward to. The Chamber has done exceedingly well through this crisis. I think we'll all agree that the Chamber has been very active with its standard offerings and new offerings and going digital and also helping out in the area of corporate social responsibility. And you'll see a detailed presentation by Payal later on that. We'll do it in the official session on all the activities of the Chamber of the last year. So, I think we can congratulate Payal and the team for a great year at the Chamber, and maybe a round of applause to start with that. Ravin will present the financial report. And as you'll see, we've been pretty financially resilient. I was in Paris last week at the board meeting of the Global French Chambers of Commerce Network. We are part of the Global French Chamber Commerce Network. There are about 120 chambers worldwide. We are, I think, now in the top 15 chambers worldwide, and my hope is that we'll get to the top 10 in the coming years. And most chambers in the world have suffered because of COVID. I think our team has led us through the COVID with some effect to the top line and the activities of the chamber, but basically keeping the chamber pretty solid on the bottom line. And so we're currently a little under pressure to be fully factual at this point of time with the business centers. So if any one of you are looking for spaces, co-working spaces, working spaces at the business centers of the chamber in Delhi, Bombay especially, please talk to Payal and Bruno. But I'm sure, the team is so good, we'll find a way out of that one. We are expecting His Excellency Ambassador Léonard to join us in a little while. As you know, he led amazingly the French government solidarity mission to India with the support for oxygen concentrators. And all of us, our member companies, all of you supported the French government. I think IFCCI and the IFCCI team played a central role in that mission, ultimately bringing quite a few of these oxygen generating plants to hospitals across India for a total value of about 55 crores and 6 million euros, which is an outstanding feat if you think about it, right? And again shows what we can do collectively if we come together. So I think that's a great achievement. That's leading the chamber and the CSR committee in the chamber to think a little about the future. What can we do more in the realm of CSR? Can we set up a foundation? And with the collective strength of our member companies. All of this, what IFCCI stands for today and has done in the past, wouldn't be possible without strong foundations laid by some members in the past, members that you and I may not necessarily know. But I felt that it was important to recognize those foundational efforts at the chamber. So in the last governing council meeting, we decided to recognize two previous presidents as President d'honneur or President Emeritus of the chamber. One is a gentleman called Mr. Daniel Philibert, who is a former director of Saint-Gobain, who actually was instrumental in giving the chamber a new life about 13, 14 years ago in Bombay. And from there, we grew from strength to strength. And the second is somebody that some of us know, Jacques Michel, who was the former country head of BNP Paribas, India, who really gave the chamber a lot of muscle power in terms of funding, in terms of office space, in terms of guidance to get the chamber up and running. So they were both gracious enough to accept this honor that we bestowed on them. They've actually sent a video of thanks. We'll be showing an extract later on, and the full-length video can be seen will be uploaded on YouTube. We hope to see Jacques in India soon because he continues to be active. Daniel has retired since and lives in France, but Jacques is the chairman of BNP Paribas Middle East Africa, and now he's recently been appointed on the board of one of the Indian ventures, so he will be visiting India soon, so some of you may have an opportunity to meet him then. He's a special person. As I look back at my own term, my 2-year term, which is coming to an end today, honestly, it's been a complete honor to have led the chamber. And I thank you all for having given me this opportunity. I was hesitant back then when Guillaume first reached out to me, and I'm so glad I took the plunge. It's been a fabulous 2 years as a president. It's been so enriching for me personally, as a professional and at a personal level as well. So thank you very much for that. It's been a privilege for me to have worked with an outstanding executive committee. We have always had an executive committee within the chamber, and I've tried in my own term to make it a little more active, but I'm saying that, so I'm not being modest here. Hopefully our friends here on stage may agree with me. So I just want to thank our executive committee, our outgoing executive committee, our outgoing treasurer, and if you can give them a round of applause. Some of them are here, some of them are not here. It'll be really nice. So I'm going to go alphabetically. Our friend Emeritus, those of you who knew him, he was in India only for 2 years. Unfortunately, because of COVID, he's left now. But he kept the flag going strong in Bombay as the vice president for Bombay and was of great support, I know, to Bruno and the team. Unfortunately, he's not here with us today. Emmanuel the Rockfies, I know a lot of us are here from Delhi, so all of us know him from Delhi. who was full of wise advice to Payal and me through those 2 years, and he's now in the Middle East, as you know, working for Thales. Eliza Khetty, the one and only Eliza Khetty, whose active support to IFCCI in Bangalore, in the south, to Johan and the team, has made sure that the vision that we had for IFCCI being stronger in South India has come to a reality. So Eliza is in France right now. So big congratulations and thanks to Eliza. Francesca, our treasurer, who who was the territory head of BNP Paribas in India and is being replaced by our dear friend Emar, who really was critical for the chamber, and I can say this maybe on behalf of Payal and Jyotsna, that in this COVID period where it was so important to look at revenues of the chamber, cash flows. Ultimately, the chamber really doesn't have a shareholder, right? The chamber has limited reserves. So if there's a problem in terms of its revenue stream, it's not, you can't call head office and say, can you fund me, right? So I think we really needed Francesca. She gave half a day every month to oversee the finances of the chamber along with Ram, the ex-CFO of BNP Paribas. Again, an outstanding individual. So a big thanks to them. Joel Verani, our Vice President for Chennai, the rebirth, the reincarnation of Chennai, of IFCCI in Chennai is all thanks to him. So big thanks and congratulations to you, Joel. And finally, and this is because it's alphabetical, Ravin. Our gentleman, if everybody's seen Lupin, Arsène Lupin, the gentleman thief. Well, our gentleman, our Vice President of Pune, but he does much more than just be the Vice President of Pune, as we all know. He brings so much of intellectual depth to our conversations in IFCCI. So Ravin, thank you very, very much for everything that you do for IFCCI. And yet most important of all, and we would all agree, it's a privilege for us to have such an exceptional team at IFCCI, working to build the chamber and support us as members. So a big applause to our team led by Payal Kanwar, our Director General. And sorry, I had a sentence written which I have to say because it's what I believe. It's amazing to work with you. And anybody who's in the role of a president will be lucky as long as you have Payal there as Director General. So thank you very much, Payal. Our Regional Director, Bruno, we are in Mumbai, Amchi, Mumbai. Bombay and Bruno go together for IFCCI. One can't imagine one without the other anymore. Where are you, Bruno? He's working. He's there. Excellent. Somebody just said, we have with us, and I must welcome as well, Emmanuel, who is and I'm going to get the designation wrong, Emmanuel, and you'll forgive me, the Minister Council for Cultural Affairs in India of the Embassy of France, and the head of the Institut Français and everything that comes with that, the entire French cultural ecosystem. He's come from Delhi especially to be with us, and we're so happy because we've not in the past had close relations with Institut Français. It's something that we want to build on. And I think as Emmanuel said when he entered and he met Bruno, he said, Bruno, I'm meeting you for the first time, but for the last 1 year, I've been hearing all about you. So that's Bruno for you, right? Our Regional Director, Johan Samuel, there he is, young, dashing Johan, from Pondicherry, lives in Bangalore. Thanks for the transformation you're leading in the South. We're all excited about coming to Hyderabad next week and, and attending the second Indo-French investment conclave now in South India, but the first in physical terms. Our Head of Activities, Jyotsna, the money woman, who lets everyone sleep at night, knowing that it's all managed. Where are you, Jyotsna? Yeah, there you are. A big applause for Jyotsna as well, please. We are missing the Iron Man from the south, which is Priyank, and who's leading the entry into Hyderabad for us. Rishika, all of you who are engaged with committees, all know Rishika, I'm sure. So big applause for Rishika. She has single-handedly created the committee vertical at the chamber, bringing us all together much more than we otherwise would. Otherwise, we just meet at an AGM and have a drink. And that used to be the reputation of the chamber some years ago, that the chamber is great for networking. And I think with the committees and with Rishika's effort, we come together to talk business. Sapna, where is Sapna? I don't see Sapna. She's not here. She's the pioneering HR head of the chamber. And if you have any needs on the talent side, I know already some of you do, please reach out to Sapna. And Shweta, the business support service champion, who's right now fighting the business center challenge for us. She's behind us. If everybody, we can just give her an applause. And thanks to all the other members of the IFCCI team. I've not named them all, but these are the heads of the departments. I know I'm taking more time than I should. Should I stop? We're waiting for the ambassador, so I can go on. No, so we'll stop there because this second part I can say in my, we can talk about when we meet. But I think I'm just pleased to say that we made good progress these last 2 years in some of the priorities that we had set as a team. And there's a lot more work to be done. And that's the beauty of any organization, you know, the journey never ends. So thank you again for coming here today, for being with us here today physically. I hope you have a special evening. And with that, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Lifetime invitee on the governing council, and the reason is because he has given his life to the chamber to support us, as he rightly reminded me. I'm so sorry, helping the chamber with all secretarial services, and whenever we need any advice, the team is able to call on him, and he's been such a such an important source of wisdom in the governing council. So thank you very much, Mr. Shah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. And now I would request Mr. Ravin Mirchandani, VP IFCCI Pune and Chairman and MD Adore Powerton to come on stage and present the IFCCI financials.
Thanks, Rishika. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First up, how good is it to be here all together after 18 months? It seems almost like a miracle to be able to see the Bay of Bengal and to see people from all over India, Ahmedabad, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, sitting here. It's almost a gift from God, it feels, after 18 months in lockdown. So thank you for taking the risk and making the effort for being here. We did a lot of clapping, and what struck me was through all of the clapping that we were doing, the one person that we missed was the president, Sumit. I remember this chamber in 2009 when I joined, and when we were just coming out of sleep, and the journey that it has taken, and Sumit's brought enormous energy to the role, enormous commitment. He's the one behind everything that we've been doing. He's the one taking everyone's ideas and rolling out new initiatives. And it's been a pleasure, Sumit. It's been a pleasure to watch you bring this chamber to the higher energy that we all aspired. So thank you for the time and the effort that you gave. Ladies and gentlemen, can you put your hands together for Sumit? Sumit did say that we are in the top 15 chambers, but he meant the top 15 Indo or French chambers of commerce, international chambers of commerce. I can tell you that in India, that story is slightly different. I'm involved in a number of international chambers, including the German and the Australian. And I have to tell you, from all of the meetings I've been to and all of the chambers I'm involved with, the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce really, really rocks. It's way ahead of everybody else, and that is a testimony to you, Payal. You've done an amazing job. This is a great chamber. So I am standing in for the treasurer, and will make the finance report as a result. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 44th Annual General Meeting. Thank you for your presence here today and for all your continued support and goodwill, which is important to the success of the Chamber. As we look back at the financial year 2021 and the difficult year it has been for the entire country, it was equally challenging for your Chamber. As the pandemic raged across the world, it brought in disruption for each one of us and for many of our families, our friends, our communities, our workplaces, and for our organizations and businesses. IFCCI adapted very quickly, as you were able to see, to this change, and its main priority was to secure itself financially amid this period of uncertainty. I'm here to present the financial reports for the Chamber for the financial year just closed. The annual report for the year ended 31st of March 21, along with the Governing Council members' reports and the audited financials of the Chamber, have already been circulated to you, and I request with your kind permission that we take these as read. The Chamber performed very well in 2021. The consolidated income from operations amounted to 16.40 crores against expenses which account for 15.20 crores. The net surplus stood at 1.22 crores, after the net surplus for memberships and subscriptions accounted for 30%. business support services 50%, and from other incomes 20%. In these unprecedented times, we're looking at constructive ways and means in dealing with the situation, taking care of all our internal and external employees and members as well, continuously focusing to overcome the challenges to the best of our capabilities. Before I conclude, on behalf of the Chamber and the Governing Council members, I wish to thank you, all of our members, all of our clients, vendors, and partners, for the trust that you've had in the Chamber through the year. This motivation is what helps not only the team, but also the Governing Council excel in its pursuits and give the time that is necessary for the Chamber. I would like to thank the IFCCI team most of all for your valuable contribution in steering this Chamber to the amazing success that it has become over the last 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Thank you, Ravin. Up next, I would request Ms. Payal S. Kanwar, Director General IFCCI, to kindly make the announcement of the newly elected GC members.
Thank you very much, Rishika, and good afternoon to you all. Thank you very much for being with us. So following the election of the Governing Council for the year 21-22, I'm very pleased to now read out the names of the newly elected members for a term of 3 years. I'll call out the names in alphabetical order, and I'll kindly request you to stand up so we can see you. So first we have Mr. Ashish Saraf, Vice President and Country Director, India, Thales, India. Congratulations, Ashish. Next we have Mr. Aymar de Liekerk-Beaufort, Head of Territory, BNP Paribas. Ms. Ipsita Das, Managing Director, Moet NC India Private Limited. Mr. Pierre Dikeli, Chief Executive Officer, Safran India Private Limited. Mr. Sumit Anand, Founder and CEO, Insight Growth Partners Advisors. And Mr. Sunny Guglani, Head of Airbus Helicopters India and South Asia at Airbus. I don't think he's with us today. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you, Payal. May I now please invite Mr. Johan Samuel, Regional Director of IFCCI South, to present the French Solidarity Mission to the audience.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay. No? Yeah? Okay, good. Perfect. Thank you, Rishika. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm very happy and proud to be presenting to you all our solidarity mission that was conducted in the month of April. At the request of the Republic, the President of the Republic of France, President Macron, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, at the very beginning of the second wave, when it hit us in India in the month of April, we decided to organize a solidarity mission under the leadership of His Excellency, Monsieur Emmanuel Lena, Ambassador of France to India. This mission was organized by the Team France in India. So that's IFCCI, of course, the Embassy of France in Delhi, Business France, and the CCEF. The idea was to contribute to the medical crisis that we were facing here in India. So very quickly, we identified that what we could do as a collective was contribute by procuring and providing oxygen-generating plants to Indian hospitals. So just to give you an idea of a timeline, our very first call took place on the 22nd of April this year. And about 10 days later, we received the first shipment of 8 oxygen-generating plants that were received in India, imported, and distributed to various hospitals in India. This mission ended up going on for quite a while, about 5 months, and we actually completed it very recently. And we continued receiving, over the next couple of months, we continued receiving funds and pledges from various companies, many of whom are here today. At the end of it, like Sumit mentioned in the beginning during his speech, we ended up collecting around 55 crores rupees from 55 companies, French companies, and we ended up purchasing 29 oxygen generating plants. Just to give you just some more information on the plants, these plants were procured by a French SME called Novaire Medical, and then eventually by a second one called Mills. These plants give autonomy for oxygen creation, medical grade oxygen creation for an hospital, for a 250 bed hospital for about 10 years. So we're really, I think, more than replying and responding to a crisis, we were looking at it as contributing to the infrastructure, the healthcare infrastructure of India in the long term. Secondly, so here you can see some of the core organizing team. Like I said, it's IFCCI, it's been representative from the Embassy of France. They tricked me. They told me that everyone was going to go with the thumbs up in the middle, and I ended up being the only one. The Embassy of France in India, our CSR committee as well, the leadership of our CSR committee, very important, Anurag and Shankar, both from Capgemini and BNP Paribas respectively, who really helped us a lot in the very beginning, because this was clearly very new to IFCCI as an organization dealing with CSR projects. This, you can see here some of the contributing companies for this mission. Companies contributed in two ways. Some of them contributed by donating to a fund that was set up by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Paris, and others contributed here in India directly through an NGO that IFCCI identified, Care India, part of Care International. These are the partners, again, that we worked with. You have the Team France and the Indian partners. We worked in coordination with the Ministry of External Affairs, Care India, and Uttam and other, the distributors of the two French suppliers that we worked with. Adore, represented, of course, by Ravin. I'll just show you a few pictures on the mission when we received the products. And then secondly, just a few words on another mission that we worked on parallelly. This was more about employee welfare more than anything else. Parallelly, IFCCI, along with the embassy, along with Business France, identified a small French SME from Montpellier called Scaleo Medical. And this mission was about purchasing oxygen concentrators for our colleagues, for member companies of IFCCI's colleagues and families more than anything else. And we ended up ordering about around 540 oxygen concentrators. And here really I must commend and thank Ravin, Adore, who graciously helped us in importing those products, distributing them, and delivering them across the country. I think big round of applause to Ravin. Thank you so much to you and your teams. Like I said, this was more about employee welfare than anything, although I must say one of the largest orders that were placed out of those 540 odd concentrators was done by Capgemini, who ordered 200 of them and ended up donating them to a hospital, a local hospital here in Bombay. So yeah, those are just a few words on the mission, on both these solidarity mission. Again, I really want to thank all of the companies that have contributed, French companies here in India and in France. Really, this wouldn't have been possible without you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Johan. Now we have a small video message by IFCCI's past presidents, Daniel Philibert and Jacques Michel, for their acceptance as IFCCI's President Emeritus. Can we please play the video?
Dear President, dear Indo-French Chamber members, it's a great honor you offer me by nomination as President Emeritus. Thank you so much, very sincerely. It's also a real pleasure to have this opportunity to focus on the Indian economic activity. I went first time in December 2001, close to 20 years back now. I left India in 2008 for the Central Poland. I was working for the Saint-Gobain Security Group, its automotive market, and started in Pune, where two old plants, Bosri and Chakan, were operating within old technology. At that time, the automotive market's growth was so strong that we decided to invest a new security plant close to the flat glass production line. I built this plant in Chennai and started and developed the activity before my departure to Poland. I was traveling consequently between Pune, Mumbai and Chennai. I was parallelly working closely with Jean Leviol within the embassy and our consulate, nominated by Christine Lagarde, conseiller du commerce extérieur de la France. I was also the Indian representative for FIEV, Fédération des Industries des Équipements pour Véhicules. Sorry for my poor English, I don't have the opportunity to speak often. Many thanks to all of you. Namaste.
Good evening, dear friends from IFCCI, from the Governing Council, dear friends of India. Hello from Bahrain. I feel privileged and very humble to be honored with the title of President Emeritus of the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce Industry. Thank you all for your elegant gesture. Indeed, I've found memories of the 2 years I spent as the president of IFCCI between 2010 and 2015, at the time when I was the CEO at BNP Paribas India. 2 intense years and deep transformation of the Chamber of Commerce. I was proposed by our ambassador Jérôme Bonnafont at that time and Pierre-Antoine Bailly, the president of the Chamber of Commerce of Paris, to take the leadership of IFCCI and to undergo a deep transformation. So I accepted this challenge, and I remember at that time a young guy, Pierre Labaille, working for IFCCI, spent much time at my office, and together with Pierre, we started to design a roadmap for IFCCI and put in place some guiding principles in terms of governance, in terms of sustainability, financial sustainability. And I would like to say hello to Pierre, by the way, who in the meantime, I understand, became a very successful entrepreneur, selling down pancakes, crêpes Suzette all over India, or all over Mumbai at least. So thank you, Pierre, for the great time we had together. And I went to Paris to meet again Mr. Bailly from the CCI Paris, and to propose to
Apologies, in the interest of time, we'll have to stop the video. We'll be now taking a 30-minute break, and would request the newly elected GC members to join the meeting. Thank you. So we request all the GC members to kindly go to the Princess Salon. Thank you.
For everybody else, you can grab some tea, coffee.
NRB Bearings is one of the top 2 producers of every single customized friction solution that goes in the 2-wheeler and the 3-wheeler globally.
Established more than half a century ago, NRB began operations as an Indo-French joint venture between Nadella, the originator of needle roller bearings, and the Sahani family. NRB has 7 manufacturing plants in India and an offshore unit in Thailand, and international operations in Germany.
What defines NRB is our engineering capabilities. That's what sets us apart.
$3,000 products, customized solutions from design to delivery. NRB is one of the very few companies of its size with a AA- Crystal Standard & Poor's rating.
They care. They care about their people, they care about their customers, and they care about being the best company they can be in the market.
Today, we custom engineer friction solutions for Audi, for Daimler Car, Daimler Truck, for Getrag, for Meritor, and for ZF globally.
No wonder then that NRB high precision parts have been powering vehicles all around the globe and will continue to do so from now into the future. Because we at NRB have always had our bearings right.
Energy is life. We all need it, and it's a source of progress. So today, to contribute to the sustainable development of the planet facing the climate challenge, we are moving forward, together, towards new energies. Energy is reinventing itself, and this energy journey is ours. Our ambition is to be a world-class player in the energy transition. That is why Total is transforming and becoming TotalEnergies.
This is for all lonely people, thinking that life has passed them by.
Houston.
Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup.
Houston.
And ride that highway in the sky. This is for all lonely people, thinking that life has passed them by. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup.
I help you.
And ride that highway in the sky.
At BNP Paribas, we know that we're stronger when we're well accompanied. This is why we'll always be by your side.
Never know until you try.
The future. You can't always see what's coming, but the decisions you make right now help you build a better one. Do you want a future where technology constrains your business or empowers it? Will you innovate for the sake of it or innovate so you're closer to your customers? Do you want to be reactive to what's happening or relevant for tomorrow? Will you choose profit over planet? Or will you find profit in sustainability? Partner with Capgemini now and unlock the value of technology to transform your business. Capgemini. Get the future you want.
From the outset, humans have journeyed through nature, on land and sea, the transition from one to the other. Loading, unloading, embarkment, disembarkment. Today, port activity is taking on a new dimension. No longer a port, but a smart corridor. 300 kilometers of fluid traffic, a dynamic artery at the heart of trade, a network of limitless connections from sea to land to sky. It is a path to Europe and to the rest of the world. A single point of contact for customized services to all containers and to all sectors. Here, fresh waters host the longest ships, while the deep seas host the largest ones. An agile interface lets you manage everything, simply and peacefully. A passage to the future, innovative, bold, and integrated within its environment.
Home. A fundamental need since the dawn of humankind. A universal aspiration shaped by specific needs, depending on where we live on the planet. A harmonious interplay of material and emotional components, personal and shared experiences. Infinitely small individual homes and our infinitely vast shared home, the planet. A challenge that's never been more essential for society, to reconcile performance and comfort while preserving resources. As historical market leaders, we now have the responsibility and the power to better inhabit the world, making. For more than 350 years, we are manufacturers and distributors. We design materials and solutions that have a tangible, positive impact on people's lives, including the way they work, take care of themselves, and travel. The world. We are a worldwide, multi-local organization with a global ambition to protect our planet and invent a more sustainable future. A better, dedicated with continuously improving and innovating. Our teams work hand in hand with our partners to imagine solutions that enhance people's individual quality of life and address the social, societal, and environmental challenges facing the planet. We care about our employees, our customers, and our communities. Home. We build places that spark dreams and aspirations. And we work every day to make the world a more beautiful and more sustainable home for us all to live in. Making the world a better home. That's our purpose.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May I request Ms. Payal as Conver Director General of IFCCI to announce the newly elected President of the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Over to you, Payal.
Thank you, Rishika. Honorable Minister, thank you for being with us. Honorable dignitaries. So I have an announcement to make. Following the Governing Council meeting held a few moments ago, I am extremely pleased and delighted to announce that Mr. Sumit Anand has been re-elected as IFCCI President for a second term, year 2021-2023. We are very excited about his re-election. Sumit has played a fundamental role in IFCCI's governance since his election in 2019. He has supported the team immensely with his vision and deep knowledge and experience in the sphere of France-India business relations. He has contributed immensely in setting up a roadmap for the Chamber, and it's been a true pleasure for myself and the team to work alongside him. I must also thank him on behalf of the entire IFCCI team for giving us his time and energy to work together on many fronts. During a critical period like COVID-19, he helped us in setting up a monthly finance task force, setting up the IFCCI Business Leaders Delegation, steering the French Solidarity Mission at a time where many team members were affected with COVID-19, including myself. So thank you so much, Sumit. I don't want to keep it very long, but this is just to tell you how ecstatic we are to have you with us for a second term. Congratulations once again.
Thank you, Payal. I would like to congratulate Mr. Sumit Anand on his new and extended role and would request him to come on stage and say a few words.
I'm back. Which speech? Left pocket, right pocket? No, listen, thank you very much. It's an honor. Thank you very much, Payal. Thank you very much, members of the Governing Council and my fellow IFCCI members. Your Excellency, Monsieur Emmanuel Lena, Ambassador of France to India, Shri Honorable Minister of Industries and Mining for Government of Maharashtra, Shri Subhash Desai, Dr. Anbalangan and Shri Baldev Singh, our dignitaries from MIDC, dear members, guests and friends. I'm very honored to accept this mandate as a president for a second term. I thank you and the Governing Council for bestowing your faith in me. The responsibility I carry is even more important in my eyes, as the suggestion that I consider renewing my mandate came from my fellow colleagues in the outgoing Executive Committee. Their trust and confidence in my ability to continue as president as we get through this COVID era means a lot to me. I look forward to continuing to work with all of you to build our chamber further. Dear IFCCI team, our dynamic Director General, Mrs. Payal Kanwar, Bruno, Johan, and the entire IFCCI team, thank you for an excellent past 2 years. You guys did an astounding job in steering the chamber through the crisis. You increased the impact on our businesses by enhancing the offerings, leveraging the digital tools and accessibility, and yet managing IFCCI's finances with great success. I look forward to working with you in the same spirit along with our new Executive Committee. Talking about our new Executive Committee, let me introduce them to you now. I request you to give them a round of applause as I take their names and would request them to stand up. As Treasurer for IFCCI, we have M.R. Dalitkar Beaufort, Head of Territory, BNP Paribas India. And then going from the south of India to the north, as Vice President for Chennai, we will have Joel Verani, Vice President of Stellantis Citroën for a second term. For Mumbai, we will have Mrs. Ipsita Das, Managing Director of Mohit NC. For Pune, we will continue with our gentleman Vice President, Mr. Ravin Mirchandani, Executive Chairman of Ador Powertron. And for Delhi, we will have Ashish Saraf, Country Chair, Vice President for Thales India. For Bangalore, we will announce a VP soon, unfortunately, as our dear Eliza Khetty, who is a pillar of IFCCI in Bangalore, has reached the maximum of suggested 3 terms as a vice president, but I'm sure we'll find somebody who can take on and fill in those very difficult shoes. 2 years ago, I stood here and spelled out certain priorities for IFCCI in my term. I believe we made steady progress through them, even through COVID. I reiterate the 4 priorities that we said we would focus on and that we will continue to for the coming term. Firstly, we'll go further for our members with providing them with existing and new services, making our committee stronger, expanding our advocacy platforms nationally and regionally, and building our services in South India, in Bangalore, Chennai, and soon in Hyderabad. Our second priority is to deepen our relations between France and India, continuing to work very closely with Your Excellency Ambassador Lena, as well as the French consulates, the entire team France, the economic department now led by Benoit, AFD and our friends at CCF, Jean-Noël, the French Trade Advisors Group. Also continue to strengthen our relationship with the Indian government and with the state governments. And so we're so honored to have you here with us, Shri Desai ji. We've done an event with you earlier as well, and we really appreciate the support we get from the government of Maharashtra. Engaging all our members, French companies as well as Indian companies. As you know, Indian companies are looking to expand more and more outside and not necessarily in the traditional UK after Brexit. And we will also seek to serve French-Indian interests in France, something that we've done in an ad hoc manner, but we hope to do in a more consistent manner as we will be launching soon along with Business France at the end of this month in France, the IFCCI France-India Business Club. And that will be an extension of IFCCI in Paris for all of us to go to participate and to speak at and to learn from. Our third priority will be to build the visibility of Indo-French business and IFCCI in India and in France with the mainstream media, with large industry bodies. We did some work with ASSOCHEM in the past, with top policy institutes and the like. And the fourth would be to provide more content and knowledge to support the France-India business relations. So those are the four priorities that we set ourselves out for 2 years ago. They will continue to be the priorities for us as a chamber, and I think we have a lot to do in that respect. I thank you again for your confidence in me, and I am grateful to have the opportunity to lead this dynamic and brilliant chamber for the coming term, along with the support of the Governing Council, the Executive Committee, and most importantly, our DG and IFCCI team. Thank you, and bonne soirée.
Thank you, Mr. Anand, and may I now request Ms. Payal Kanwar to present the activities of IFCCI to the audience.
Thank you very much, Rishika. So I'm going to be presenting a few slides, and for our guests on stage, we have a screen. If you can see clearly, we'll be projecting a very quick presentation of the chamber. I don't think it's showing yet. Yes, there it is. Great. So IFCCI is a part of a worldwide network of 126 French chambers abroad with more than 33,000 member companies. In India, we're present in 5 Indian cities, but you can see a dotted line on Hyderabad. So that is really the next destination for us. We are very actively looking at setting up a representation there over the next year. I'm sorry in advance, I'm going to be going a bit quickly in the interest of time. I'd like to thank our previous executive committee members and welcome the new executive committee members. And of course, our very dynamic team, Pan-India, in 5 Indian cities who are doing an excellent job. As you know, IFCCI is also an award-winning chamber. We won 2 awards twice in a row by the CCI France International. It's a real honor for us to be recognized on a global platform. In terms of our member companies, we now represent about close to 8,000 contacts in India and close to 600 member companies across the country and France. And it's something that the team is continuously working on. Of course, there was a dip during COVID-19. We had a huge challenge in terms of non-renewals, but this is a big priority for the team, and we're working on this continuously throughout the year. Thank you very much to our annual sponsors who have supported us throughout the year, both financially but also in terms of time and their commitment to the chamber. And we've engaged with many of them for several of our events and knowledge platforms. So last year was a unique year for us because it accelerated, we developed ourselves very strongly in terms of digital events. We still organized about 100 events in the year. And we had a window between January and March of this year to organize some physical events. But I think what was interesting was to see how we did not have any geographical barriers. So we had a lot of global speakers at our events coming in from France, from the APAC region. So this is something which remains very strong at the chamber. We also organized in partnership with Business France the IFCCI, the Indo-French Business Awards and the Grand Prix Veilleux, where we recognize excellence of our member companies as well as young French professionals who come to India. So this was a great event organized at the Leela Palace in Delhi. And of course, we have the list of all the winners. We also organized an investment conclave in Tamil Nadu, which was the 3rd edition earlier this year. And of course, we had some great speakers. We had announcements with LOIs worth 200 crores, which were announced. And we are really looking forward to next week. And I hope most of you are joining us in Hyderabad, and we're looking forward to spending the day together there. So that'll be a great opportunity. We also launched the IFCCI HR Conclave. As we know, employees, employee laws, employee care really was the center of COVID-19. And with that, we put together this great event. And we had some fantastic speakers from all over the world. Our committees are going very strong, and Rishika, who is emceeing today, is heading our committees for India, but we're very pleased with how the committees have become very strong over the years. It's really a backbone of the chamber today. We had about 55 engagements last year across committees, across sectors, and this is something that we hope to continue moving forward with. So this is just a glimpse of some of our committee events. We had organized, in fact, we had some partnerships with French chambers in the region, in Japan, in Singapore. We've also organized many inter-sector events between different committees. We'd like to thank our past chairpersons and of course a very special recognition for the late Mohan Kumar, who was chairperson of our Consumer Goods and Services Committee, who we unfortunately lost during the second wave of COVID-19, and he was a very important member. And also, thank you to all the others who were involved and gave their time and energy. So we've really built up our advocacy services over the past years. We work with ministries and governments and state governments across the country. And the idea is really to create a platform and a dialogue between our member companies and the government authorities. Business support services, so this is managed by Shweta, and we support French companies in setting up their presence in India through, creating their legal structure, hiring, HR. So it was a tough year for the business support services. As Sumit had mentioned, our business centers were impacted, greatly impacted, but we're being positive about it, and we hope to resume back to normal activities soon. Some of the highlights: we organize an annual digital forum, which is in France. We've participated in many different forums in Europe. And of course, we have signed an MOU with the Monaco Economic Board for helping the region in expanding their presence in India and creating new and meaningful partnerships. Our HR and recruitment services is going strong, and of course we were impacted by COVID-19 as well, but the team still managed to initiate some key placements within our member companies. You can see the logos of some of our clients. This is a great service that we have at the chamber, so if you have any requirements, please do get in touch with us. Communications, we are very strong. We're very active on social media. I think we're close to 60,000 followers now on LinkedIn. So it's really a key priority for us as well to continuously communicate and to talk about our member companies and their success stories in India. We're also very active with the media in India. And of course, we have here the list of some key upcoming events. We have Hyderabad next week. We have the CSR Conclave, Defense and Aerospace, and the awards and other events. I'd like to thank all of our partners, the French team in India, as we call it. Business France, Eric Fajol is with us this evening. The Conseil du Commerce Extérieur de la France, the CCF, Atout France, the French tourism agency, our partners in India, FICCI and CII, and of course all of the different partners we work with in France. I'd also like to talk about for a minute Ambition India, which is an important business event which will be taking place at the end of next month in Paris at the French Senate in a hybrid format. Eric is with us. Eric, you could just stand up maybe for a minute so everybody can see you. And please do not hesitate to get in touch with Eric to find out more about this event and the opportunities. Ambition India is really a key event for promoting business between France and India, and we are so pleased to be a partner of this event. And of course, we have also Bonjour India 2022, and we have Emmanuel Lebrun-Damien, who is the Counselor for Culture, Science and Education. And Emmanuel, maybe you could stand up as well. This is one of the largest Indo-French cultural festivals, which is now going to be on an annual basis. So of course, we would like your support, and we'd really like you to come on board and join us. Thank you very much. And of course, we are launching the IFCCI France India Business Club at the end of next month in Paris, and this is a huge step for the chamber. I hope I was quick enough. I think a bit too fast, but thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Payal. And up next, we have a small video message address by Mr. Amitabh Kant, CEO of Niti Aayog for IFCCI members. Can we please play the video?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here today and grateful to the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry for organizing a discourse around India's Digital Decade 2020-30, a topic of paramount global significance and increasingly difficult for markets to ignore. As policymakers, we have known since quite a while that India's rapid transformation towards a digital-first nation will soon become a global phenomenon. But it is only in past several years that the world has started noticing the impact of our digital ecosystem have been creating, transforming everyday's lives, transcending social barriers, empowering citizens and charting out pathways that are truly innovative for the world to learn from and replicate. Building digital solutions for a diverse country of 1.3 billion people is not easy, but we've not shied away from it. Leveraging technology has been the cornerstone in our government's approach for dealing with governance issues. In 2014, the Digital India program was revitalized to cover both infrastructure issues and citizen-centric service delivery. The results of this movement became even more pronounced during the pandemic. India's unified payment interface, the instant real-time payment system, reported a threefold increase during the last fiscal 2020-21 in both the number of transactions and the value. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our total volume jumped to 2,732 million transactions, worth a huge amount, about close to rupees 1,51,141 crore, and UPI has contributed its might to make the country one of the fastest growing digital economies in the world, and it has been heralded as the best financial innovation post-independence in India. Turbocharged by the wings of financial autonomy, India's consumer digital economy is forecasted to touch 800 billion by 2030 against 85-90 billion in calendar year 2030. Behind the scenes of this growth will be our indispensable technology innovators and entrepreneurs toiling to mainstream digital services to every single person in the country. India has added close to about 28 new unicorns in the first 9 months of 2021, taking the total number of unicorns in the country to 66. This is already double the number of unicorns from 38 in 2020. 60% of these companies are e-commerce, SaaS, software as a service, and fintech firms, clearly pointing towards bullish growth powered by digital payment infrastructure and Startup India scheme kickstarted by the government. India today is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, right behind the United States and China. Debut offering the Indian unicorns have been setting domestic stock markets on fire and global investors in a frenzy, and this trend will only continue to grow. Besides achieving national economic targets, digitization has also become critical to improve ease of transacting and improving the quality of living. Implementation of Aadhaar, the biometric digital services program spanning 1.2 billion citizens, and the goods and services tax, GST, which brought more than 10 million businesses online, have been the hallmark of large-scale digitization in India. Now, with the announcement by the Prime Minister on unique digital health ID for each Indian, we are taking the next big step in the health space. What we are now seeing is more and more businesses relying on cloud technology to scale, unlock new growth avenues, and increase their incomes, in turn enhancing the contribution to the larger $5 trillion goal for India. I am confident that this decade will establish India as a global leader in digital economy, establishing many of our innovative models for the world to replicate and learn from for years to come. I welcome all of you, our partner countries, especially France, to join us in this adventure of transcending physical barriers digitally. India's on the move, and digitally we will transform both India and become the leading innovator in the digital world of tomorrow. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is a speech on Maharashtra as an investment destination by MIDC, for which I'm pleased to invite Dr. P. Anbalagan, IAS, and CEO of MIDC on stage.
Namaskar, good evening. Respected Ambassador, respected our Minister, our Additional Chief Secretary Industries, Mr. Sumit Anand, Ms. Payal, and friends from India and France. I extend my warm welcome to Mumbai and Maharashtra. You would load here only? Yeah. I'll just do that. So much. Thank you. I'll have a short presentation. Why Maharashtra? Basically, traditionally, historically, I would say the manufacturing hub and also the hub for services and hospitality and most of all the sectors. Just a snapshot where we exactly stand with the government of India. I would say the union government is concerned. The state occupies close to 10% of the land mass, and typically it also contributes 10 to 11% of the population. But coming to economic activity, it is somewhere between 1/4 to 1/5. So for example, it's the biggest subnational economy marching towards a $1 trillion economy with 0.402 trillion as of now. We have a state domestic product. And if you think of FDI direct inflow, it's close to 30%. 1/3 of it has been in Maharashtra. For past 2 decades, we have attracted close to 155 billion USD. And largest share of industrial output and exports, again, I said it's like 1/5 of the exports are from Maharashtra. And if I say in particular sectors, pharmaceutical, chemicals, even electronics, maximum almost close to 40% is routed through Navasheva. They may not be manufactured, but it's routed through our port. Highest employable talent, particularly for the sunrise sectors. The state enrolls close to 1.4 million post-matric graduates, and almost every year we get around close to 1 million graduates passing out with science and technical background. And the state also boasts to have close to 1,000 technical institutes, engineering, management, pharmacy, and host of that. And largest base of internet subscribers in India, almost 97 million. These are the development indicators which normally indicate where exactly the state stand in the form of good governance in the sectors of ease of doing business, what is a talent pool available, and of course we also look at good governance index and composite water management index. We stand first. Export index, if we look at actual volume of export, the state obviously the number 1, but there are numbers of, like I would say, the numerator and denominator, so the state is number 2. I think we are marching towards number 1. And innovation index, again we are number 2. We always say, even in case of like what exactly the quality of infra, what exactly the way in which we I would say handle the business when compared to other investment promotion agencies, and the state ranks first. The state is led by the massive infra projects. I would say close to 40 billion USD is being invested in various multiple projects, and certain number of like key projects have been submitted for your perusal. I would say the major one being like a Maharashtra Prosperity Corridor, which connects our winter capital Nagpur to Mumbai, and it's going to have 23 industrial nodes which will predominantly look at logistics, agriculture processing, and host of other sectors. And we are also having a Navi Mumbai Airport, Mumbai Transformer Link, and the state is part of the Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor. And we have the first greenfield smart city has come up in Aurangabad, which has been named after Arik. And another city spreading across 15,000 acres is also coming close to the proposed new Mumbai Airport. There are other projects. We all be like witnessing the metro projects in Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, and of late Nasik is also been announced. So when we think of a business, we look at what exactly the policy, what exactly the state is offering to the investors and industrial units. So our policy of 2019 is an umbrella policy which looks at host of all the sectors, and depending on, because the emerging sectors, there are like sector specific demands, and state has also come up with close to more than 15 such sector specific policies. Like even no one can think that time the separate policy was being announced for aerospace and defense, and we have the first to have a fintech policy, and we also have a very I would say one of the best textile policy, and off late electric vehicle manufacturing policy 2021, maybe the best among the entire, I would say, the country. So this is what today I think the mandate, where exactly in IT the state stands. So when we look at what exactly the investment is coming, almost 1/3 of the investment in IT sector, and typically employment generation is also in maximum. The new policy is also looking at close to 1.5 million jobs generation in between 2021 to 2026, and we are quite comfortable in innovation index, and one of the best startup ecosystem is available here. Not only in I would say the corporate sector, even the government is at the doorstep of the people with various initiatives of Apply Sarkar, My Government, and all that is been also there. E-Sarita, the property registration is also now can happen at our MIDC industrial estate. And it was the largest, I think, broadband penetration, and of course if we look at internet penetration is also the huge. And IT policy 2021 also looks at the emerging sectors like that. I would say the data center, I would also animation and other sectors. There are quite interesting and exciting investments. All incentives are also being offered. The state is also looking at M-Hub to dovetail all the schemes to get all the startup for more into most into the all emerging technology sectors. And here, unlike in other state, the Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation is, I would say, a single nodal agency, and which is the only agency other than Invest India, which is part of WIPA, the World Association for Investment Promotion. So, MID is the only state agency which is a member of I would say an international body. MIDC is more like an infrastructure arm, also an investment promotion agency, and it also a special planning authority, and it's also linked between the government and the industry. If you look at, we operate close to 2.5 lakh acres of, I would say 250,000 acres of land only for industrial purpose, spreading across close to 300 locations. Unlike other places where there are only clusters of 6 to 7, here you have almost major clusters of 70 plus. They are highly, I would say, 5-star industrial estates. The state is also looking at specialized parks like silver parks, floriculture parks, wine parks, and other things. And state also operates one of the largest environmental infra. And state is looking at close to $500 million investment only in upgrading the environmental infra, which is going to be a big boost for chemical and bulk drug park. Our Honorable Chief Minister has initiated certain reforms so that business becomes very easy to do in our state. Which one is with cost being more for the land and building, the state is also looking at a concept of plug and play infrastructure for anchor unit or identified sectors in all the zones starting from Nagpur to Mumbai. So to begin with, we are looking at close to 250 acres where we will be building the worksheds, we will be building the customized build to suit worksheds. And it will be given on a rental, short-term rentals, and even rentals also priced at I would say, not even more than 3% of the returns. So that is what being planned. So any anchor industry coming for any captive vendor, also MIDC offers to build to suit structures for them. There is no need to invest them in land and I would say a building. And second is a master permit which mandates an LOI, which also which gives I would say pre-commencement operations to start with for all the units other than the units which require normally an environmental clearance within 48 hours. And third is more like a private employment exchange where the state is trying to bridge a gap and state is trying to assist the industrial houses in getting the skilled workforce by launching Mahajobs web portal, which brings all the technical pool in one platform, and we also appointed a qualified HR firm which will be doing all the due diligence for you, and we will be making payment to the HR firm to recruit for you. So that suppose you are recruiting 1,000 people, so maybe I may be paying 2,000 per head to that particular HR company to recruit you. So this is one and more like a service to an investor which is they are coming to. And here also the secrecy of the company and all is been maintained because only codes are given, no company or zones are given. An investor first program which predominantly mandates a relationship manager to handhold all the investment more than 50 crores. So here we have done an MOU with 58 partners. So all the 58 partners are all being given relationship manager who will be doing all the handholding for the project so that that lands very smoothly. So this is what the performance of the state over the past, I would say last 18 months, and almost 18 months we can count, it's like almost entire COVID. So we started in June 2020. Then we have gone to like August, then again December. So totally we have done an investment like MOU for close to 1.1 lakh crores and FDI I would say organic FDI is again another 1.71. And routine investments, MIDC also does a routine investment of like small, medium and other enterprises. That is another like almost I would say 5 billion USD. I would say more than 70 to 75 final lead, the critical leads are been with us. Maybe in another maybe 4 to 5 months we should be crossing 5 lakh crore investment in this 18 months or 2 years. So that is what we are aiming. It's quite well ahead of our policy objective. Despite COVID, I would say the investors have shown a tremendous trust on us. These are some of the upcoming flagship projects for the state. We are getting a high-tech ESDM parks at Ranjangaon and Talegaon, and pharmaceutical and pulp drug park close to Digi Port. And mega food parks are also coming up in Aurangabad, Dindori, Nasik, and also Kolhapur, which is close to that. And mega textile park is also being planned. It's be more like an expansion of Amravati and Navapur. And defense and aerospace cluster is also being planned with a plug and play in Nagpur. And startups data center is of course Mumbai, Navi Mumbai and Taloja. Medical devices equipment park and also R&D parks is planned in Aurangabad and Sindhudurg. We are also looking at integrated multimodal logistic parks where Chakan has been already given a 500 acres for a logistic hub, and next is the Bhiwandi, which is close to Thane, where it's been announced as a growth center where MIDC is being appointed as a special planning authority for that. So you will have an organized thing. The state is also coming with the India's largest gems and jewelry park in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, and biotechnology park with already 2 anchor tenants in Dindori close to Nasik. This is Maharashtra France economic relations overview. We all know because we are into trade, we are into culture, we are into like skill development, we are into whatnot. We are into almost every sectors we have with that. So this is where exactly the state stands. Even out of 7 billion investments to India, the state close to almost more than 1/5, 22%. When you think of exports to France, 16%, of course, the import to Maharashtra is bit very, very less. So there is also potential for our companies to look at that. And these are the key sectors where we can forge a very strong alliance, bilateral relationship in the form of making a good business, chemicals and biofuels, pharmaceuticals, automobiles and EV, medical devices, renewable energy, electronics and components, food processing, IT and ITS, textile, and of course aerospace and defense. And state has one of the biggest, I would say, center for overhauling and aircraft, I would say in Nagpur. So Nagpur is being like developed as a defense and aerospace cluster. We are also seeing some good investment, hopefully that should land here. This is the French ecosystem in Maharashtra. So we have Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and we actively involved with them. And particularly this year we are like in constant dialogue, and we should have a, like you have it in TN, you have it in Telangana. I think we should have a next conclave in Maharashtra for Indo-French business conclave here, where I think we would request also our Honorable Chief Minister to grace. We are also looking at cultural association and also R&D. So it's like historical relationship the state and the country share. These are our friends with us. We all know, not new to you. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
Thank you, Dr. Anbalagan, for the presentation. And it now gives me great pleasure to welcome and invite our chief guest, Shri Subhash Desai, Honorable Minister of Industries and Mining, Government of Maharashtra, on stage.
His Excellency Ambassador Mr. Emmanuel Lenin, my friend Mr. Sumit Anand, Additional Chief Secretary, Government of Maharashtra, Mr. Baldev Singh, Chief Executive Officer, MIDC, Dr. P. Anbalagan, dignitaries, CEOs, friends. I congratulate Sumit Anand for coming back as elected president of Indo-French Chamber of Commerce. This week we have two election news. One is from Germany, second is from Indo-French Chamber of Commerce. Germany has not disclosed their chancellor yet, but here we have our president. So congratulations and my best wishes for your successful second term. I have also continued for the second term as a minister. So second term is common between you and me. So let us march ahead together. We have long relationship between India and France and Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Maharashtra. If I wish to describe in one word France and Maharashtra, I can describe France as a land of innovation and Maharashtra is a land of opportunities. So both these lands have much to do. We have great names from corporate French identities like Schneider Electrics, Air Liquide. They help us a lot during this pandemic challenging time, providing oxygen. Then Danone, working in foods. Capgemini, they are part of our success story in information technology. And so on. And many more to come. My colleague, Dr. Anbalgan, has made very impressive presentation on Maharashtra's industrial development and way forward. In this state, we have good infrastructure, skilled manpower, and perfect ecosystem for industries. We look forward to French companies to contribute in their technological advancement in the coming decade. And I'm sure our skilled talent pool would be of great help in these joint ventures. In our well-established IT industries, we have leaders like IBM, Microsoft, Amazon, HP, Cisco, and many more, who have chosen Maharashtra as their home. Maharashtra is major startup hub in India. And France is, of course, hotspot of innovation. Under Magnetic Maharashtra 2.0, under able leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, we have successfully made investment agreements with companies from United States, from United Kingdom, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, and so on. And this story continues. So I am confident Maharashtra will soon achieve its trillion-dollar vision. And we will re-establish ourselves at the forefront of India's digital revolution. And here I welcome you all the CEOs of the French corporate world to join this success story, and together let us march ahead. With these words, I once again thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity, and I wish the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce a great future ahead under leadership of our Sumit Anand. Thank you very much. Jai Maharashtra.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our privilege to now welcome and invite on stage our guest of honor, His Excellency Mr. Emmanuel Lena, Ambassador of France to India, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Minister. Thank you, Mr. Additional Secretary. We don't need to be convinced to come to Maharashtra to do business. Actually, it's no surprise. It's the biggest hub for French companies in India, and you have many CEOs from French companies with us tonight. And we want to do even more business. You may know that we would like to, French company called EDF would like to build some nuclear plant in Maharashtra also. And we're pretty hopeful to get the support of the state for that. It's a major project for independence and autonomy and a major service for the population. And it would bring tens of thousands of jobs in the state. I want to congratulate, of course, the new re-elected president. It's a nice surprise. Congratulations, Sumit. And because it's a team, pay some respect to Payal. I think you have a great DJ, but that you know. And she doesn't has to run for election, but I'm very confident that if that was the case, she would be easily re-elected, and with a huge, huge, huge support. She's doing a tremendous job with the chamber. Thank you. I mean, we are really blessed to have such a chamber. I mean, it's been said, but it's true when we compare it and I discuss with other ambassadors and from other countries. Our chamber, our Indo-French chamber, does really is an object of admiration for many countries. It's functional, it works. I mean, it's proved. I mean, it worked during COVID. And congratulations again for keeping the pace, doing the events, helping to do some fundraising, taking care of the CSR, working on this magnificent project to bring oxygen generators to India, thanks to the company you represent. I mean, we had a great assistance we provided. Some countries make some big announcement with huge figures. Some others shipped things which stayed in warehouses. I mean, we made sure, thanks to your support, that the equipment were really delivered and functional in the hospital within a week. And each of them provided, as you know, autonomy to this hospital for at least 200 beds, given oxygen. They didn't have to buy oxygen. Sorry for Air Liquide, which has done a great job also, and bringing some containers of liquid oxygen. But it's a great help, and I'm really grateful, and I know many people in India are grateful about that, so thank you also for that. You have a nice project to continue to expand the network, and I must say that to open a business club or an office in Paris next month is a great development. I mean, it's no surprise given your dynamism that the initiative comes from here, from India, and you are building or creating, opening a branch in Paris. Good also to know that you're going to develop your presence in Hyderabad it's really a city we are really bully about. I think it's no, it's nothing to compare to Mumbai and Maharashtra, but it's an interesting city still, and we're going to try to also to develop a form of official presence. As you know, we already have 4 consulates. Don't think we will be able to open. That's again already our 2nd or 3rd largest network in the world. But we're going to try to find a solution to develop a form of presence as of next year in Hyderabad. It's something which will be maybe called Bureau de France, but we're going to pool all our presence with the Alliance Française, with support maybe from 1 or 2 regions of France, and IFCCI, and any other presence, maybe I don't know, in form of a French restaurant or whatever. But we have to be very coherent like this, work together. I mean, that's the spirit of IFCCI, and we have a real team now working very well with, it's been said, with Business France, with Service Économique. Thank you, Eric, and thank you, Benoit and team, working excellently with the consulate, which is largely present tonight. And thank you thank you for the great job, Sami. And thank you also for the support you bring to other activities which help us to be present in India. And it's been said, you're great supporters of Bonjour India, of the Trust Fund to finance some scholarships for Indian students, and discuss the subject numerous times with Emmanuel. Nothing would be possible with the support from IFCCI and support from all of you. So thank you very much again. Yeah. You can clap if you want. You were about to. That's okay. Well, in two words, the prospects are pretty good. I mean, I must say, about Indian economy, you're much more knowledgeable than I am. But all the ministers, the CEOs from Indian companies I meet these days are pretty optimistic about the perspective, really optimistic. So I'm confident that the business will continue to develop. It will enjoy support from both government. That's really something which is absolutely 100% sure. You've seen the latest, I would say, geopolitical, strategic development with this AUKUS and deal with our defense agreement between Australia, UK and US, something which made my authorities very happy, as you have noticed. But this will only induce for our Indo-French relation more and more momentum. Honestly, our two countries are really about being independent, being their strategic autonomy, and I think in India, although it seems that a good operation, that's the pressure on China in that part of the world is being reinforced. The solution that the Australians have accepted is not the sort of solution that India would want for itself. I mean, when you want to have more security, you can either develop your autonomy, your strategic autonomy, what we're doing together, and all of you who work in the defense sector knows that. Building more in India, making India Atmanirbhar, developing, sharing some technologies. Or you can do what the Australian did, is ask another country to provide your security. Don't think that's what the Indians are going for. These submarines are going to be constructed outside of Australia, maintained most likely by US staff, and manned partly by US staff. So I don't think it's a good example and from the contact I already had inside India, it seems that your authorities, everybody wants to go full speed and to continue to work on all what is critical, and we can do together to boost our strategic autonomy, be it, of course, cyber, digital, supercalculators, space, and so on and so forth. So I think we have ahead of us a great perspective. I mean, obviously all the other businesses are going to move forward also, and that you know about smart cities, obviously, given the challenges, can be also aeronautics, of course, health, and everything which has been said right before, and Maharashtra will play an important role into that. So thank you very much again. Congratulations to Summit and team, and thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Lena. We will now head towards the signing ceremony between IFCCI and MIDC, which will be signed by Mr. Sumit Anand, President IFCCI, and Shri Baldev Singh, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Industries, Government of Maharashtra, in the presence of our dignitaries. Can we please have the MOUs? Yeah, for the photo op. Yeah. Can we take one more group picture without the MOUs before we move to the business sessions, please?
Thank you for the invitation.
We have Mr. Ravin Mirchandani, our VP, who would like to take a 2-minute address. Thank you.
Just before the Minister and the dignitaries from Maharashtra leave, thank you so much for making time for the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce. The last gentleman who spoke was the Honorable, or His Excellency actually, the Ambassador for France, Ambassador Lena. And whilst he talked very highly about the French companies and all they've done, particularly Air Liquide, Capgemini, in donating 55 crores for the oxygen mission for India, I wanted to just bring to your attention the importance that France places on India and supporting India, as he said in his speech. When the equipment arrived in Delhi, it was the ambassador himself on the tarmac who was helping clear all of the equipment so that they could be at the hospitals within hours of arriving on the French Air Force jet. So thank you, Ambassador, for having made all of those efforts on behalf of India.
Thank you, Ravin. We will now move towards the business sessions, and we have a small video by Mr. Eman Izzat, CEO of Capgemini Group, to present the overview on India's digital decade 2020-30, a big boost for India's economy. Can we please play the video? Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation. It's a great honor to be virtually with you for the 44th Annual General Meeting of the Chamber. I am delighted that digital is at the top of today's agenda. Digital is an exciting topic and for sure a great enabler for India in the coming years. Before starting, I would like to thank Sri Uddhav Thackeray and His Excellency Emmanuel Lenin, who are both doing a remarkable job to develop relations between France and India. The company I lead has more than 150,000 employees based in India. Capgemini is the French company with the biggest headcount in India. It is essential for me to support the strong relationship between India and France. The potential of this relationship is huge, whether it is socially, economically, or culturally. And I'm happy to be with you today to celebrate this strategic partnership. So, thank you again for the invitation. Capgemini is proud to be a partner with the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce. When I look a few years back, I am impressed by the growth of Capgemini in India, both in terms of people and technology. From 2001 with our first development center in Mumbai, through the numerous acquisitions in 2006 with Cambay, for instance, in 2015 with iGate, or more recently, Altron in 2020. We have succeeded in building a strong and committed brand, serving many clients in both private and public sector. India has become for us a strong business platform, thanks to the efforts of all our partners. It is now the hub of innovation for Capgemini, with a number of centers of excellence, all seamlessly connected with the rest of the Capgemini network. I was lucky enough to be in Maharashtra a few weeks ago to meet our teams in Mumbai and Pune after a long period without traveling at all. I was missing India. During this trip, we had exciting discussions about new technologies and what we can do for our clients. There is so much creativity, enthusiasm, energy, and expertise in our teams in India. It is definitely the place where we primarily understand, test, and deploy some very complex, innovative technologies, such as cloud, AI, or even quantum. Recently, we launched our 5G lab in Mumbai. It is a state-of-the-art facility that offers an agile and collaborative environment which leverages best-of-breed technologies on network, cloud, edge, computing, hardware and software solutions in compliance with local regulations. India is not anymore a delivery house. India is now, for me, the very heart of the group. It is a real strategic business platform. India is a center of innovation for us. It will play a key role in shaping, building, and delivering our intelligent industry promise. The potential is vast, and we keep expanding. Since 2014, the number of our Indian colleagues has tripled to over 150,000 people. And I can tell you it will continue. We are amongst the most attractive employers in India. It allows us to attract more and more talents and meet the growing needs of our clients, scaling up in a world where digital transformation is moving at a rapid pace. As you may guess, there is a lot at stake in building this talent-centric company. It's about investing in our people, it's about offering them career opportunities, it's about providing them with a safe working environment. As you all know, the situation in India has been very difficult in the first quarter, with COVID-19 surges all across the country. Our support to our employees and to the society at large was, I think, exemplary and recognized by our employees. We are committed to our people. At Capgemini, it is our responsibility to give our employees the opportunity to develop their skills and make their time in the company an accelerator for their career. India will have a key role to play in the world in the coming decades, especially in the digital world. We must continue to work together to prepare for the future. Digital development is growing at an astonishingly fast rate. Digital technology is more than ever the heart of the economy. It is everywhere. And the pandemic has accelerated investment and innovation in many areas. It has completely changed the way we interact and move. And there is no doubt that the world of tomorrow will be intelligent and interconnected. We need to keep investing heavily in the new technologies to meet these new challenges. And I do not see any other place than India that can meet the scale and the speed we need. To conclude, I would like to address a point that is dear to my heart: sustainability. We all have a responsibility in fighting climate change. And at Capgemini, we are convinced that technology is a key enabler for sustainability. My ambition is to position India at the very heart of this challenge. We will switch to 100% renewable energy in India over 5 years. And we have planted 1 million trees in nearly 1 year on our campuses across India. This example is interesting because this successful India initiative is now spreading across the group. And we pledged last week to plant 20 million trees worldwide by 2030. Our teams in India are also strongly contributing to helping our clients reaching their own sustainability targets. I am convinced everyone has a role to play and must act for a responsible future. And for me, India is at the forefront of these challenges. I am really proud to lead such a passionate team, and the opportunities I see in India are fantastic. You can count on us for the next decade. Thank you.
We now move towards the first part of the panel discussion on the agenda. May I please invite all panelists on stage. I'll start with Mr. Matthew Lebeau, Associate Partner, TNP Consultants, who's the moderator of our business session. Mr. Anil Chilla, Chief Digital Officer, L'Oreal India. Mr. Joel Virani, VP Sales and Marketing, Stellantis India and Jeep. Mr. M.R. de Ledekerk-Beaufort, Head of Territory, Head of CIB, BNP Paribas India. Over to you, Matthew.
Thank you, Payala. Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm pleased to be the moderator of this bright panel because it's about defining what could be the digital world in 10 years from now. And it's very ambitious to predict that because today, 10 years ago, founded the same year, Uber, the Bitcoin, Instagram. So 10 years ago, we had the inception of major agents of transformation. So what will be the future in the next 10 years? It's up to the panelists to tell me. And don't forget that India will be at the center of this shift, as it was the past 10 years, because today, as an example, you have the 3 CEOs of major of the GAFAM who are coming from India. So I'm sure that India will be a leading role. So maybe let's start, maybe to introduce the 3 panelists. So I think all of you know Joel. There's also Emma and Anil from L'Oreal. So let's start with the customer experience, because as consumer, all of you is customer experience transformed by the digital transformation. So Joel, according to you, can we have digital anywhere, anytime? What is the limit and the relationship with the physical world?
Okay, thank you, Mathieu. This is a key question because digital is a booster for the business. We know it, and with COVID, we have seen it. It was a very big booster to help us to develop the business. But the question is why? What are the customer expectations? This is the key. Digital helps us to improve the customer expectation, to improve the customer experience. And this is what we need to do to succeed with digital. Because digital is a fantastic tool. We have seen a lot of comments about digital, and we are all agree about this. But at the end, it's the experience, it's the customer which will do the difference, because the decision is taken by the customer. So we call it, in Stellantis, I work in Stellantis, but in all companies there is a name for this. We call it Atawadak. Atawadak means anytime, anywhere, any device, any content. You need to provide a solution for the customer, very quick, everywhere, anytime, with any device. That means, here, now, if you want to buy something, you can. You have the control. We have the control. Because the digital helps us to do it when we want. Of course, it's not a good time because you are listening. But just after we can. And this is the new way to help the customer to take the good decision and to have the good experience. So digital is a booster of customer experience.
But you are selling cars. Cars are tangible, are objects. So at what point you are obliged to connect to the real world? How do you do that?
It's a good point. Digital is nothing without physics. So it is why the word is phygital. Phygital means physic and digital. Digital, we understand that what helps us to bring this customer experience. But we need to have a back office. We need to have the touch. We need to feel the people, to touch the people, what we are doing today. We have done 2 years in digital, a lot of meetings together, and today we are here. And we know that it's something we need. And for the business, it's the same. You need to have to touch the product. You need to experience the real life. You need to have new format. So this is one. First, you need to develop new format. We call it phygital format. So in automotive, we develop new format with digital inside to have a seamless experience from the digital experience you have. And after, when you are in the physical experience, you continue and you improve it without having a cut, without starting from scratch once you are in the shop. So this is one. Change the format. Second is to provide a full online experience. That's possible as well. So we have a lot of e-commerce experience, and we know today that we can buy at home a TV, a car, and everything that we want. But this is done because we have a back office, because we have a lot of people that are working for logistics, for delivery, for demo before, for selling, because before we need to explain to the customer if he's doing the good choice. It is why, conclusion, the word is phygital.
Thank you. Maybe I switch to Anil, because Anil is selling smaller products and with a different customer experience. But there was a major shift in the last years. It's the surge of social networks. How do you evaluate the impact today of social network, and what will be the future, according to you? L'Oréal is a major, let's say, if there are a lot of comments on Instagram about L'Oréal. It's a success story, so can you explain to us?
Sure. So L'Oréal's a beauty company, right? So and beauty is all about it's visual. It's all about inspiration, right? So and social networks are all about we experience, we see people talking, communicating, sharing their personal stories, etc. So it's all about inspiring, right? So social networks are a big part of our communication channel, right? So whether it's a set of influencers, whether it's people talking to each other, etc., about the products or what are the latest beauty trends, etc. So social networks form a major part of what we do from a beauty category perspective.
Major, or will it be the majority of your sales in 10 years from now?
I would say it would influence a lot. So if you see today, research states that whether it's a physical customer, consumer purchasing products physically or on e-commerce or on any of the online channels, 80% of that is influenced through digital. So consumer experiences a brand or a product digitally, and then does various, obviously we are in the beauty category, so people would go to a tester, obviously pre-pandemic, use a tester, try it, how it feels, etc. before they get into it. So social media is a big part of it. In fact, so much so that during the the pandemic lockdown, our salons were shut, right? So salons, no one visits a salon. So in that sense, I mean, usually a consumer walks into a salon, but in our case, what we did is we built a completely new sales channel on social media. So our salons went to the consumers. A salon could reach out to a consumer and sell their products or services online on social media. And I think social media is here to stay. So earlier it was just a communication medium. Now it's a medium of transaction, it's a medium of sales, it's a medium of customer service. Everything is now available on social media, including payment. So you can pay on WhatsApp today. So,
So what will be the next big thing in your business? Is it the beauty tech, for example? Or can you develop that point?
Yeah. So beauty tech is something that was coined in L'Oreal. We are a beauty company, 112-year-old beauty company, and technology. So what does beauty have to do with technology? So in that sense, it's really about creating, beauty is all about, consumers and how consumers experience the product or the category using the help of technology, right? I'll give you a few examples because it's a theoretical construct. One example could be, when you're buying a lipstick or when you're buying a foundation, trying it on and seeing how it feels on your skin, or at least, seeing how it feels on oneself, right? So virtually, using augmented reality or virtual reality, using a skin diagnostic tool, right? And seeing how it works and feels, for example, using AR, which takes, or a AI, sort of a tool which does a quick skin diagnostic and tells us, what are the problems with the skin, and then, what are the potential solutions to that. Or trying a hair color try-on, again using augmented reality. So beauty tech is really about using the power of technology to create an enhanced experience for the consumer, right? So that's really what it is, right? So using the power of AI, virtual reality, augmented reality to, sort of create all these experiences.
So now you have a lot of information about your consumers. In terms of data privacy, how do you consider the future laws that will be passed in India? And with your experience in Europe or in France with GDPR, what is your feeling about that?
Yeah, so obviously the Indian government has done a very good thing by presenting the PDPA, right, which is currently in the parliament. And it's sort of it's taken the best of the California Privacy Act as well as the GDPR, which is there in Europe, right? So in my view, I think it's going to change the way companies use data, right? For example, all of us, get exposed to marketing some way or the other. Obviously, under the PDPA, it changes the way the onus, therefore, is on the company. They need to take annual, sort of renewal of the permission from the consumer, etc., before they can even use it for any purpose, right? So in my view, PDPA obviously secures privacy and data, and it's a big debate, across the world, right? We have seen how the likes of Facebook or Google have been impacted with multi-billion-dollar fines, across the world. So it's the name of the game. We have to earn the trust of the consumer, and we have to play by the rules. And PDPA sort of helps build that for the consumer.
Yeah, it's the same for other industries and especially the finance industry. So regarding the data protection, so there's the data privacy, of course, but also the data security. I think it's very important also for the finance world because, and I will ask Emma, who is a banker, and what is, in terms of cybersecurity, how do you cope with that ever-rising constraints and also the threat of cyber criminals in the world?
Well, I think first I would like to say the bank has started to use IT for a very, very long time. By the way, it is an issue because now we are with old system.
Yes.
And catching up with the fintech is an issue because they start from scratch where we have these legacies. So we have no choice than being more and more 100% digital. because there is pressure on the margin, because there is expectation from the client that everything should be very quickly and swift turnaround time. It is a worldwide business. There is a huge amount of data. So, I mean, let's agree, we have to go towards the digital world. And the more digital we become, the more prone to cybersecurity incidents we have to face. So it's embedded in our way to work. We have to defend ourselves. We are not Capgemini, but we have 34,000 IT people in the bank. So let's assume we are 200,000. 34,000 of my colleagues are IT people. So it is a permanent constraint.
Yes.
I would be very optimistic. I would touch wood and say up to now, all is good. We never had any cybersecurity incidents. But obviously, we need to be extremely cautious. It's a permanent topic. It's like in many things in life. The more you are prepared, the more new threats are happening. And in fact, you are never ready. You always need to be one step in advance. But that's a big challenge. So I didn't know you would ask me this question. It was not on my paper. But I met our chief IT when I was back for summer in Paris. And the way he described the way we try to prepare ourselves is like an army in march. It was using a kind of similarity that if we feel we are attacked, then we have to bombard the whole network, and we have a side network which will take back the activity. So it's a real threat, but we have no choice than using digital, and I think we are prepared, but we are prepared and re-prepare ourselves every day.
It means more investment, I guess, because as you are more and more open, e-commerce is increase the number of online transactions worldwide, so I can imagine it's a concern for you.
So we work a lot with the IT companies, and I think there is a bright future for fintech or for IT company which specialize in cybersecurity.
And today, you are collaborating with fintechs. Can you go further on that topic?
Yes, of course. I mean, it is interesting to remember that 20 years ago, we were not talking about fintech, we were talking about startups. And you may remember that was potentially a first bubble because it did not completely work. And more recently, the word fintech appears. And at first, many people say, "Oh, look, bankers, this is your new competition." And finally, after a few years, it appeared that fintech was not a competitor, a bit like L'Oréal, but they were helping us to address many issues of our clients, maybe topics we were not able to develop because we were potentially not agile enough in terms of IT, because small teams can do wonderful things. And we went to the fintech and we said, okay, we like this product, we are going to use it. It went to the point where fintech were doing so incredible things that we decided to buy fintech. And for example, for the French people, I think they will be aware that BNP Paribas bought a few years ago a bank which is named Nickel. And I'm looking at my friend Toby from Société Générale because the guy who founded that is coming from Société Générale. And the idea was very simple. It was to allow people to go in a tobacco shop, because there is lots of tobacco shop in France, and open an account in 5 to 6 minutes. And the idea was to make it a kind of a service that would go to people who potentially would have difficulties to open an account with a bank because they don't have the right profile. And so we decided to buy this fintech. So fintech was seen as an enemy, then was a partner, then was a target. And I can tell you today, we are very proud to have fintech as a client, because some became extremely big, extremely successful, and we are happy to have them as clients. So you see, there is a full evolution circling.
Great. And just a provocative question for both of you. In 2030, will we be in India? Will we pay a Citroën in Bitcoin? Because Elon Musk has done
I think it's a very good choice.
Sorry?
So we can start the Bitcoin as you want, if you want to buy. So, but I need you for this.
Well, that's the question I was expecting. And you know, the way I wanted to answer you is in fact asking the question to people in the room. Is if I tell you now, if you have 2 minutes to decide, do you want to keep your dollars, your Indian rupee, or do you want to change all your assets in Bitcoin? Well, you know, I guess that a very small minority will accept to change everything in Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin is potentially the future, yes. But I'm not sure everybody's ready for it.
But the majority can buy a Citroën.
But with Bitcoin? Or rupees now? Okay. Just maybe a last question about collaboration with startups, because it concerns all of you. So Emma, you explain a little bit, maybe Anil or you, Joël, about collaboration with startups.
Yeah, you know, L'Oreal globally has an investment fund called Bold, and it uses that to, you know, sort of work very closely with incubators and startups. In India, L'Oreal's invested in a VC called Fireside Ventures, which is investing in DTC startups in the CPG industry. So yeah, so we work very closely with startups, and we, you know, we're looking actively to acquire, you know, a few in India as well. So hopefully soon.
Okay.
Yes, in India, in fact, we have a fantastic ecosystem for digital. It's not only startup; it's a full range of services for digital. You have big companies, you have a medium player, and you have startup. And the strength is to mix depending of your needs, because you have scalable needs, and here it's agile. It's possible to personalize and to adapt the digital platform you have to build to answer to the first question, to answer to the customer expectation. We need to have a digital platform, and to this, we have the backbone with CRM, DMS, and ERP, which is done by big companies as Capgemini, as TNP, as Dassault System. And after, we have a full range of startups to develop innovations and to be agile and to be integrated in this solution, because it has to be seamless. And this is exactly what is well done in India. You have some bricks, big and small, and everything has to be together to answer to the customer expectation.
So yes, we do use fintech for our cash management solution in India. We use fintech or use the technology of OCR, optical character recognition, and it's very important if you want to make the link between the payments and your SAP system, for example. We use also fintech who have a very good solution when they want to onboard a distribution network. And there is a very bad word, which is KYC, know your clients. I know everybody hates it, but then you have solution to allow. Now, there is a wonderful solution, and I think we will do more and more with the fintechs in India.
Made in India?
Yes, absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay, thank you, all of you. I think we are on time. I don't know where is the timekeeper, but and thank you for your participation and your creativity in your answers sometimes.
Have a small video by Haropa Ports. Can we please play the video?
From the outset, humans have journeyed through nature, on land and sea, the transition from one to the other. Loading, unloading, embarkment, disembarkment. Today, port activity is taking on a new dimension. No longer a port, but a smart corridor. 300 kilometers of fluid traffic, a dynamic artery at the heart of trade, a network of limitless connections from sea to land to sky. It is a path to Europe and to the rest of the world. A single point of contact for customized services to all containers and to all sectors. Here, fresh waters host the longest ships, while the deep seas host the largest ones. An agile interface lets you manage everything, simply and peacefully. A passage to the future, innovative, bold, and integrated within its environment.
May I now please invite Captain Ram Iyer, Haropa Port's representative and VP Seahorse Ship Agencies on stage for a speech.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is on behalf of the sponsors. I'm from Seahorse Ship Agencies. We represent Haropa Ports, the French major port, leading port, the Seine River ports of Le Havre, Rouen, and Paris. And our CEO, Mr. Stéphane Raison, couldn't make it, couldn't be ready for, he was too tired up, he couldn't deliver the speech. And on behalf of Mr. Stéphane Raison, it gives me honor to read out his message to you. Warm greetings from France. India has been and continues to be the acknowledged global capital and powerhouse of software industry. With globalization of trade and commerce, digitalization took center stage in assisting ease of doing business across nations worldwide. Digital transformation globally continued across various nations at each one's determined pace. However, the pandemic has highlighted and stressed the importance of digital as an essential tool for market and trade globally. Challenges experienced over the course of the pandemic has now necessitated and highly motivated one and all to implement risk mitigation strategies, leveraging digital capabilities and emerging technologies. Indian government, with its path-breaking initiatives in digitalization across the entire spectrum of its industries, trade and service sectors, is well placed and the most qualified potential to revolutionize and be on the global center stage as far as digitalization goes. And I'm confident that leveraging on this could very well be the tool that propels India's enhanced economic growth and success in this decade. Haropa Ports welcomes, wishes Team IFCCI the very best in their endeavors on Indo-French trade and business cooperation, and Haropa Ports assure Indian Exim Trade and Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry all our best support. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Ram Iyer. We'll now move towards the last part of the panel discussion on the agenda. And for that, may I please invite all panelists on stage. Mr. Toby Lawson, CEO and Chief Country Officer, Societe Generale India. Captain Ram Iyer, Haropa Ports Representative and VP Seahorse Ship Agencies. And Mr. Ravin Mirchandani, Chairman and MD, Ador Parton. And of course, our moderator, Matthew Lebel, Associate Partner, TNP Consultants. Over to you, Matthew.
Ravin is missing? No. He was there. Yes. So thank you again. This second session of panelists. So I'll try to avoid the same questions as the previous panel, but still, There will be some, I'm sure. But let's start by Ram, because he made a brilliant presentation about his company, Haropa. And it's today one of leading challenge of the 10 coming years is not only the digital transformation, but also the green transformation. And logistics and moving goods plays a major role in the CO2 emissions. So Ram, or Captain Ram, so how do you see the digital as an enabler of the green transformation in your business, applied to your business in logistics and port?
Well, let us come to the main issue. It is the green. The governments globally and the future generation, it's all green is the way to go ahead. And let us talk about logistics. Everyone talks about logistics. And logistics, the most important part in logistics is the streamlining of logistics, which is the essence which can reduce the carbon footprint. When we are talking about what we do in Haropa, is we have streamlined the entire system, entire thing with proper systems. Let's talk about right from the time vessel comes in. When the vessel comes in, we have what is it called as the S-wing. This ensures that there is the vessel doesn't burn fuel additionally and it comes on time. This is what is called as just-in-time concept for the vessel to berth in time, and thereafter you have the path-breaking S1 system, which ensures that the goods are cleared and moved out in the most. It is a digital for everyone. It's a transparent system for everyone in the extreme trade to see how it moves and where it is for that. You move on to the next stage, it's the truck appointment system. It's another appointment system so that the trucks don't wait. The trucks, you have an appointment, you come there, pick up your box, and then move on. And not only that, from where it moves on, either by road, by rail, or sea to the destination, you have what we call as the Vaze, the app. And this app is a real-time one which can show you where the traffic, the road condition it is. And likewise on the rail and the river transport, the entire thing is fully on digital mode. This enables streamlined movement, and this is the essence of things. Likewise, not only in France, India is also endeavoring best on this. I'm confident that India will also do its best, and especially with the Indian government's push on this green initiatives.
And today, how do you benchmark the digitalization of India in your business compared to, let's say, the leading countries globally, I would say? It's the same for everyone, but maybe Ram, you start and maybe we switch to...
It's a difficult question to answer. Let us put it, India is the powerhouse of software industries. India has got a manpower and everything on all these things. But on the shipping and logistics sector, the world over, the developed world, the Europe has really gone well ahead. This has been, digitalization has been on for more than decades now. Whereas India also, it's not that India doesn't have an efficient digital system, a port community system right here now. But there is still loads to be, there's ample, let's put it this way, there is ample scope of improvement in ensuring a seamless movement. And I'm confident that with this continued initiative, especially you must have seen the new things like National Logistic Platform, the government has put a whole lot of new things on the platform, on the scenario now. And I'm hopeful that very soon, if not today, like within the next couple of years, we will see them all fructifying into an efficient stuff.
And regarding the pandemic, I don't know who is going to take the question, but regarding the pandemic, overall, was it beneficial for the digitalization? Of course, it was a nightmare, as explained on the sanitary issues, but regarding digitalization, was it positive or overall or negative? Who wants to answer?
I will go on this quickly on this logistic aspect, because it's a challenge, because when logistics is a matter of physical as well as digital. Going on that, whereas, as I said, the Western world, the developed nations had already had a developed thing. But
due to this pandemic and the social distancing and the need for remote information and remote control, the main challenges in the Western world were that of security and digital security and cyber security, digital safety and security. Whereas in India, you have a system, but it is applaudable the way, despite the various challenges in India, Indian Exim Trade and the Logistic Association got together in a phenomenal way. It is, I can just put it as a proactive approach of this government, the port authorities, the terminal authorities, and the Indian customs in general. They, even though there are systems all across, there was no seamless thing. Now what they did is, it was really done by, in a very beautiful way, what we call it, the Indian way. They had prepared small WhatsApp group of every local ports. And the customs commissioner and the port chairman, they themselves were involved ensuring the seamless flow and both for clearance inbound goods as well as outbound during this pandemic. This really showed how important digital would be placed in this logistics sector. And what it is now, today, it has really brought in a host of new initiatives from the government. Yesterday, you must have read in the newspaper of FIO, putting up this new logistic platform, marketplace. Likewise, globally, it has spurred, it has kick-started many logistic player and the new startups on this. And I'm really hopeful for good things on this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Ram. So let's switch sectors. Totally different, finance maybe, Toby? So
Indeed, yes.
Just regarding the innovation, so today, is the innovation still going, is still growing in the finance sector? Do you find nice startups in India? Or?
Okay, well, let me firstly apologise to His Excellency the Ambassador for being Australian. I am probably the only Australian in the world who's been invited to a French conference.
Actually, there's two, because I'm Australian too.
So. Oh, well done. Ravi and I on a Unity ticket, so I'd like to get that apology out to avoid any ructions later. But to your point, I think the banking sector and the finance sector in particular has been going through transformation this whole century. I started in capital markets where we used to be in trading pits, shouting at each other, quoting prices, thinking that was the most efficient way of price discovery. Yeah. And we've seen the electronification of financial markets, and now I think we're just taking off. Yeah. And the reason that is really mainly in the transaction banking area, where payments are now accessible digitally to just about everyone. And this will be further accelerated with the new 5G networks that come in, and the fact that just about everyone will have access to a smartphone. So from a banking sector perspective, it really is, we've been in transformation for 20 years, and we'll continue to be, and actually I think it's going to get even more accelerated. And so for us, when you talk about fintech, yeah, we need to change. And we need to either collaborate with fintech or buy fintech, and I know Amo said buying into fintech, it's something we do as well at Societe Generale, but I was reading the FT the other day that said that some 67% of bank executives said we'll lose market share if we don't go digital, and some 60% of those said we won't exist if we don't change our business model.
Disruption.
And this disruption for banking has been going on, but I think it's accelerating, and I think banks have to make a choice whether they want to be in it or they want to be a utility providing for it. And I think this is the challenge for the banking sector and the finance sector. And we're going through that. So how we react is we are collaborating with fintech, we're investing in startups, we are trying to attach ourselves and trying to find our way of navigating to ensure that we stay relevant and that we can continue to provide the services we do to the economy.
And regarding the cryptocurrencies, do you see that as a threat or an opportunity, let's say, to balance?
It's a good question. I actually thought about this because I don't know a lot about cryptocurrency, but I want to be sure that people should be very wary about making big calls on technology. In 1876, the British Post Office said that the Americans might need the telephone, but we don't need it because we've got a whole lot of messenger boys. The chairman of IBM in 1943 said there's the world market for about 5 computers. There's now about 2.2 billion computers in the world. So when we talk about new technology, and if we look at cryptocurrency as a space, I can't say for sure. What I would say is that it's a binary option at the moment in terms of investment. It could be 0, could be 100. And then we have to work out whether crypto is going to be a replacement for fiat currency and transaction, or is it going to be a store of wealth? Is it going to be a commodity? And so, for instance, I would say probably right now Bitcoin trades more like a gold, more like a store of wealth,
Yes.
whereas Ethereum and other forms of crypto have use case benefits. And we have actually used Ethereum blockchain to do a covered bond issue in euro in the last year. So we have actually done security token issuance using Ethereum blockchain. So we do believe in blockchain. But in terms of the future of crypto, I think who knows, right? Let's be honest, but I don't think it's going away. I'll be clear on that.
We'll see, but it seems that this is growing right now. So
that's technology. Everyone talks about exponential curves,
yeah.
And we've been going through technological change since the advent of the internet. Let's say pre-21st century, but that's been growing like this. But exponential curves in technological change that change the world go like this. And
yeah.
I think we're at the beginning of this.
And the blockchain technology is a major enabler.
That might be the enabler. That
yeah.
might be the changing point. Quantum computing, many other technologies that may come into it. But I don't even think we're at the end of technological change. We're at the beginning of this curve.
Another major enabler is artificial intelligence. Elon Musk says that it's dangerous. But it seems that more and more it's in our daily life. Ravin, in your business, how do you use artificial intelligence? It's only starting, or?
Okay, thanks for asking that question. It's a good question, but I just want to go back to the one you asked before on,
yes.
The obvious one. Did Corona make a difference to digitization? And I think the overwhelming answer is yes, because we were all on a very big learning curve. The whole world was on a learning curve. The fact that we're having a hybrid event today would have been unthought of just 2 years ago. If I asked for a show of hands of how many people still get newspapers printed, delivered to their house, there wouldn't be so many because you're reading them on your app because you didn't want to touch newspapers anymore. And, pre-Corona and post-Corona, dealing with my bank on the phone, I bank with Westpac. And
disappointing, yep. We could do better.
What used to take 5 or 6 pages to get a transaction done now is one fingerprint and one button to get things done, and they know so much more about you and trust so much of their system. So yes, the answer is it has made an overwhelming change in the attitudes to digitization and also the investment in digitization. And what you're seeing is that investment come through this year in 2021. 2020, I think everyone is scratching their heads going, what am I supposed to do? And in 21, all the big money is being put into it, and which is why you're seeing the Indian IT sector. There's such a lot of movement in employment. People are not finding the right people. Salaries are going up 100% for that reason. Now, you asked the question about AI and how do we use it in our business. So we have 2 businesses. One makes electric vehicle chargers in India, and the other is road safety technology. Both of them use a lot of AI. When a car approaches a fast charger, there's a lot of discussion that's going on between the car and the charger. The charger has to recognize the car, recognize the person, recognize the QR code, and all of this needs to be done in a way where it's not frustrating. As a driver, you drive to a fuel station, you put the nozzle in, and you're done. I was in Europe a week ago. 70 to 75% of the chargers were not working. And these were big ones, ABB, Siemens, Tritium, and that's because AI hasn't quite learned yet and is not able to talk to your car, not able to recognize you. There's so many ecosystems if you think about a fast charger. First, there's the telephone ecosystem. So the telephone company needs to get your QR code working, your GSM needs to be working, data needs to be working. Then there's an RFID. You need to touch this machine, that equipment needs to be working, dealing with the bank. The banking system now needs to recognize you and authorize this transaction. And finally, the electricity grid needs to say, right, now I'm going to give you power. And all of that coming together cannot be done by just one little PCB. That has to be done by AI. That has to be done by something that continues to learn. And we're at the inflection point of that today. The second example I'll give you is if you drive from Bombay to Pune, the expressway now has wonderful speed cameras. all installed by us, good Australian technology. And we do 75,000 movements per camera per day. There's 20 cameras, so you can see how many movements there are per day. On average, in India, 8% of people speed, 2% of people use a mobile phone, 25% of drivers do not have a seatbelt. And I can give you this because AI is counting it continuously and forecasting to me on a Monday, these are the numbers I'll get. On a Tuesday, these are the numbers I'll get. And the reason we use AI is because the number plates fail all the time. Because a lot of the number plates are handwritten or do not correspond, or the truck driver had it above where it should be, the software doesn't know where to look. And every time there is a mistake, when that mistake is overridden by a human, the machine has to learn. And if it learns, it's able to get better at its capability of enforcement. So when we started on the expressway 2 years ago, our success rate was 60%. Today we're working at 93%. And the difference is AI, is the fact that the machine was taught to learn with human intervention to identify where things are unique in India.
So it's a major benefit for your business, but what about the number of jobs in India? Because India is a low-cost country in terms of labor. So what is the benefit to save, let's say, to be more efficient, as you have plenty of people available for work and cheaply?
For us, it's you could have 20 people do it or a machine. And the 20 people are 6,000 rupees a month, and the machine is $250,000 per unit. So there is, you can calculate it. There is an inflection point at which point you go, I prefer the machine to the human. But what you save with the machine is mistakes. And what you save is HR costs and annual salary increases and the canteen costs and many other things that eventually add on. I think it's a turn-of-the-century industrial revolution thinking that says, I'm going to displace all of these horsemen and stable hands because the car is coming. Well, they're going to be retrained, reskilled, and they'll go into other jobs, which become available because AI has taken these particular jobs away. I would forecast that within 5 years, half of the industry of code writers today, who are just basically writing on .NET or C++, will be redundant because machine learning would have achieved the fact that the code can write itself. They'll have to reskill and do other things.
And do you find enough skilled resources in India to lead this transformation? Because you need a data scientist, you need an expert in blockchain, for example. Is it easy to find?
How provocative do you want me to be? I can tell you the truth. Not many people like it. The truth is that A team from India is already in America and in France. The B team is in Australia, Singapore, Dubai. The C team is working for Tata, Infosys. And by the time you're getting down to our industries, the skill levels are not brilliant. So you have to either pay or you have to team with companies that have those A skills. So I would suggest that in India, the skills exist at all levels. And what we called semi-skilled in India is actually unskilled, right? When people say, in China, when you say semi-skilled, it's one guy doing one thing continuously, right? In India, that is not the case. You're not able to get people you have to train them from zero. So the skill matrix in India is it's a rainbow of capabilities, and the good ones are outside India, and you're paying a high level of money for not the best people in India. So I would say the trick is to identify where the best capability lies to give you the resource, and then partner with these companies, whether they're in India or whether in America, Australia, France, or somewhere else.
Thank you. Any comments about the?
No, I was just thinking one of the things about talent is really trying to identify its source, and so from a point of view of whether you use it from a CSR initiative to invest in research institutes. So, for instance, what we're trying to do from a CSR perspective is to look at research, investing in research to improve outcomes. So, two ways of that benefits is one. Say, for instance, we would invest in a research person to look at novel photocatalysts for carbon capture and hydrogen production. So one, that is an investment that we can make from a CSR perspective because it's open source, not good from a commercial perspective. We don't consider it commercial. But what it does is it obviously helps to develop talent in India, and we're doing that with local universities in the country. So when we talk about quantum of talent, I think the answer is pretty clear. We don't have a quantum issue. Ours is about trying to find how we can play a role in advancing the talent pool in India through this type of initiative. And for us, from a purely commercial perspective, it's not necessarily something that we need to develop. But from a CSR perspective, where we can help the country by investing in research that benefits the economy and benefits the country, that's how we would go about it.
Fully agree with what Ravin has said and what you just said on this, on the need for skilling. Like Ravin just said, you have the full spectrum of talent fully available right here in India. It is horses for courses, and this is where the government initiative is important, how to ensure upskilling. This is the challenge which any developing country will face, and this is exactly what India is facing. Likewise, even in the logistic industry, we are facing this serious challenge. The more and more systems-driven actions to be taken, you need skills. You need to skill them up. You need to upskill your own staff. Otherwise, you're going to make them redundant. So this is a continuous process, and this is a challenge. And with this kickstart or further enhancement of the systems and digitalization, this is going to be a challenge for India. And this is, it is not an easy task to surmount. It is very easily said than it will be done. It is like continuously, it is, you might have few guys who are able to really do the thing, and you have the rest who still are laggards, and it is a challenge to bring them up. And you cannot have this thing, and this is a challenge.
Thank you. So I hope that we'll have another panel in 2030 in order to check whether what we have said today is
Ravi and I will be back in Australia, but yeah, we're happy to dial in. Yeah.
Yes, hopefully. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, panelists. We now have a lucky draw for which one of the participants will stand a chance to win a 2-night, 3-day stay at the beautiful Postcard Hotel in Goa. The Postcard Hotel is a collection of intimate luxury hotels hidden in holiday destinations across India and the world. May I please request Ms. Payal S. Kanwar, Mr. Johan Samuel from the Delhi team, from the IFCCI team, and Sarita Patwal from the Postcard Hotels to come on stage. And we have a lucky winner. Number 14. So the winner's name is Mr. Joel Akilan, who's the Executive Director and Chief Representative of BBVA. Congratulations to Joel. And now, sorry Joel Virani. So moving on to, so thank you to the Postcard Hotel, and thank you, Sarita. And now we move on to the last thing on the agenda, which is the vote of thanks by Ms. Payal S. Kanwar.
Thank you very much, Rishika. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. So I stand between you and the champagne, so I'm going to make this very quick. We'd like to thank all of our partners and sponsors, MIDC. Thank you very much to our platinum sponsors, BNP Paribas, Capgemini, Haropa Ports, Société Générale. Gold sponsors, Crédit Agricole, Godrej, Hager, TNP. Silver sponsors, Raymond, Aremo, right? Yes, Aremo, Celio, NRB, Peraj, Saint-Gobain, TotalEnergies. Gift partners, the Postcard Hotels. Please do collect your vouchers on the way out. We all get 5,000 rupees off on our next stay at the Postcard Hotels. They have some lovely properties in Goa. And of course, beverage partners, the Glenlivet and Chandon. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a lovely evening. Please join us for a drink, a much needed drink. Sorry? Done. Sumit, Ipsita. Sumit. Sumit and Ipsita, can I have you on stage? We're just doing a photo of the newly elected executive.